Hello, everybody. How are you all today? What a fantastic week this has been. And today I have someone very special. Listen to me, right? Listen. If you think I've got a lot of energy, you've not think anything, right? Right here next to me, I've got a powerhouse. Let me introduce you to Colleen Big. Hello, Colleen. How are you?
Hey Claire, I'm so good. How are you?
Oh, this is so nice to see you and everybody. I've just come out of Colin's 3-day leap event, and wow, wow, you just blow me away. Your passion, your energy, your stories, the way you really connect on an emotional level with people was just fabulous. So you must have been a bit tired after 3 days, right?
You would think that you would be exactly exhausted. And that's, I'll give you a kind of sneak peek behind the scenes. We create emails to go out to people during the event, after the event. So they're written weeks in advance. And so you don't know how you're going to feel, but I remember that my assistant wrote an email to go out the day after the event. And the first thing she said was, wow, I'm exhausted. You must be too. And I read that line and I thought, there's no way I'm
Yeah.
going to be exhausted. And there's no way the attendees at my event are going to be exhausted. They're going to be exhilarated. They're
Pumped.
going to be pumped. They're going to be like ready to go face the world. And so I just remember changing that first line and saying, no, I'm not exhausted. I'm exhilarated. Why? Because it's my passion. It's what I love. It's what fuels me. So
Mm.
that is what I want for every woman. And that's why I brought so much of that to my event, is because if we are not doing what we love and we are not pumped and exhilarated and just ready to face the world after every day of talking to a client or whatever we do in our lives, then we're not doing what fills us and what lights us up. So if
Mm.
someone did leave exhausted, they need to be checking in to find out why they're exhausted. Because that's
Yes.
a whole different, and that could be, it could be the lack of confidence. It could be the lack of self-esteem. It could be the lack of belief in themselves. And I
Mm.
think I breathed enough life into a lot of people at that event. But here's what I know. We cannot waste time breathing life into people that don't want life breathed into them if they're not ready, right? So maybe some women found out at this event that either I'm not doing what lights me up, I need to do what lights me up. They're having a lot of conversations with themselves now, a
Yes.
lot of deep rooted, I'm not sure if I'm doing what I should be doing.
Mm.
And if that's what it brought to their life, I'm happy that it did.
Mm.
Because we always need to be checking ourselves to make sure we're on the right path.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Colin, just tell us a little bit. How did you come to do so? Your business now, your business is Lead Up for Women, right? Speak up to lead up, that
Yeah.
kind of things. And you really kind of created that huge, amazing community of women, from across the state, and I think you've got across the borders as well, haven't you? You've got
Yeah,
internationals.
we're across the world. I never started this in Arizona. I started this nationally.
Yeah.
And as you noticed at the event, we had several women from other countries there that were participating in the event. And Lead Up for Women is global. I didn't realize it was going to go global so quickly. And I never even once in my brain thought to just keep it local. I just went national because I was already connected nationally with a lot of women in networking back in my days and being in corporate. And it's one thing I knew, Claire, being visible, being seen, being heard, being connected in your community. That was the one thing with all of the hundreds of businesses that I launched over the last 20 years. That was the one common denominator that created success and wealth for their companies,
Mm.
was being visible, them talking about themselves to everybody.
Mm.
Those that say, I will build it and they will come, that's like when someone builds a website and says, if I can just get my website built. And I laugh and I say, I've built 2 6-figure businesses with 0 websites. So let me tell you, it's not about the website. You have to get out there and be seen and be heard. No one's just going to stumble upon your website. Yes, SEO is important and all of that is important, but it is not necessary. You are necessary for your success, right? Yeah. So knowing that, Lead Up for Women supports that growth in women. It supports that exposure for women by them being on these platforms. They're being seen and heard and being visible everywhere because we are global and we have a very large reach. And so when I built this community, I selfishly wanted to surround myself with like-minded women that could fuel me on the days I'm down, right? That could be there to help me.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the thing, isn't it? It's like what I was going to say, that community is surrounding yourself with people who supports you, feed you, and going to push you and then support you to go further, isn't it? That's the key to everything.
It really is. And then the platforms, because it keeps the members in the spotlight, I'm holding space for them every single day. We do Member Monday Spotlights on Monday. We do Teaching Tuesdays where they're the ones teaching. We do Wednesdays, we do the podcast. So I'm interviewing someone on a Wednesday. We do Thrive Thursdays where we spotlight a female that inspires us to thrive every Thursday. Friday is the only day that I believe that we're not spotlighting a member in the community. And of course on the weekend, but here's the difference. We are in a way because our members, we're consistently promoting their events. We're helping them fill their events. We're helping them get community members to be interested in what they do. So we work with each other and resources within the community. So it's like its own ecosystem. And it's turned into that based on the women that I'm attracting. That's why I wrote that book, Step Into the Spotlight, to expand your influence to attract the right clients. Because how many times, Claire, do we waste our time on the phone with people that literally are not interested in a thing that we do, and they don't want life breathed into them, and you're like, that was a waste of an hour of my time or half hour of my time. If you're not interested in Lead Up for Women, that's okay. You're probably not someone that would be a client of mine or someone that would want to be in the community, and you're not either in that mind shift set yet, or I'm just not the community for you. We're different. We're way different than other female communities.
Yeah. And I think it's also, this is what it is as well. You're attracted with people by people, right? So, from straight away, you will know there's connections, there's something, there's that subconscious that you're going to like that person, and, there's something there. Or, maybe not, you go and you move on somewhere else.
Yeah.
And this is good as well. I think a lot of the time as women, and I'm sure men do that as well, but we try to please everybody as well. We try to be everything so we can be good and we can help everybody. And sometimes we need to kind of not do that, right?
No, I think I brought that up at my event. That was a strong piece where I said, I hate to break it to you. And that was when we did the worksheet talking about the non-negotiables, the ideal client, the not ideal client, and that's a very strong exercise to do when you write down who is not your ideal client. And when you know who your ideal client is, you can pinpoint right away who isn't. And you'll know, I don't want to work with that person because they will take 80% of your time.
Right.
And they will only put 20% effort in. But the ones that are your ideal clients, you put 20% of the effort in and they will take action 80% of the time. Yeah, it's just the way it works.
And, I talk about, obviously, I talk a lot about decluttering, and it's one of the big thing, part of BizShui and, our environment. But decluttering is right, decluttering your environment, decluttering your filing cabinet, but decluttering your clients sometimes have to be done as well. And it's an important part of it. If you're spending all that time, effort, and every time you feel that customer ringing on the phone, it drags your energy just completely dragged out, isn't it?
It is. And I use the analogy, it's like dragging a 10-pound bag of, dry pinto beans on a rope through quicksand. Like literally, it is so hard.
Right.
And, your ideal client, you're frolicking downhill, holding hands and, everything's all great. And, or you're walking uphill and supporting each other, right? Sometimes they're helping me up the hill. Sometimes I'm helping them up the hill. And it's just like a partnership. So in life, we need to figure out who our ideal clients are and go after them. You cannot help everyone because you're in a lane. You have a specific niche, right? I'm not for everyone. I have a certain way that I do things, a certain, formula of how I do things, how I show up, what's important to me in my life. And that's not for everyone. And that's okay. I am not trying to fit everyone. I'm being me. And then I attract the right people to me. And we have to trust that. It's the belief, the desire, the whole faith piece that we talked about. That is the very, very beginning essence of anyone starting a business. You have to believe in yourself. You have to the desire and the faith and know and trust that if I just show up as me every single day, exactly who I am, I'm not trying to be someone for someone else. Like how many times did I cry at the event because my passion came out and I felt safe in the environment I was in with the people that I had invited to that event. They were holding the space for me. And if we don't show every side of us and who we are and aren't authentic, then how do we attract people to know, like, and trust us? I'm not attracted to fake people or people that need to be someone all the time. It's like, just be you. People just want you. But we're so afraid to be us because we're afraid of rejection.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so we wear a mask. We wear all these things because then they won't really see who I am. It's like, you can see who I am. You can see what I look like on Sundays in my pajamas. Like that, none of that stuff do I care about because I'm not here to impress anyone. I have goals. I have things that I want to accomplish in my life. And I have a mission that I'm on that's greater than my own selfish needs, which is for women in the landscape of women to be changed forever, for female entrepreneurs, for women in corporate America, where they step up and actually fight for that position. They speak up when they're in the seat and don't let people railroad them when they have an opinion, but they're standing up for themselves. So equality comes from us acting equal, from us stepping up and fighting for what it is that we want. And if we're not willing to do that, and people before us, women before us, if they didn't fight for our voting rights, if they didn't fight for any of that, we wouldn't be voting today. There's so much that wouldn't happen today if women before us didn't fight for us. So I feel like it's my duty and it's your duty and it's other women's duties to fight for the women that are still going to be coming, in generations behind us that need us to stand up for them today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can see that quote behind you. And again, you brought that up during the conference, but the I am enough. We should all believe that we are enough. And I think a lot of us, our generation, kind of been growing up from our parents' generations, are following some of those steps, and suddenly we're coming to our stages when you think, hang on, that's not right. That doesn't feel right. We shouldn't be doing that because my parents have done that. I shouldn't be doing that. And a lot of that is still, it's a big challenge, isn't it, for people to move over from this old pattern, from the limited beliefs that they've learned from their parents and families and people around them.
Yeah, it's the modeling and the programming that we talked about. And again, it's not us ditching our parents or saying, oh my gosh, you did a horrible job. It's not about that. It's about realizing what did my parents do when I was younger? What was my programming when I was younger? How did they respond to money? How did they respond to rich people? How did they respond to poor people? How did they respond to loss? How did they respond to if they had a job? Did they own a business, right? What was I taught when I was younger? So like we talk about thoughts, lead to your feelings. So you have a thought, leads to how you feel about it, which leads to the type of action you take, which equals your results. So if you're getting the same results and you want to change your results, you have to change your thoughts. The only way to change your thoughts is to change your programming from what you believe in. So that blueprint, right? That whole temperature that we talk about, the money blueprint. And usually most people, anytime I talk to them, they want to make more money. Why? Because money creates opportunities. The more money you have, the more impact you can make, the more, and every single one of us are in the service industry. So if you want to make a greater impact, you have to have more money to do that. You can become a better version of yourself because you don't have the limitations that money puts on you, right? So that's why I talk a lot about money, is because it's the limitations that causes us to stop at some point because we can't afford it, right? So that's why money is so important in owning a business.
And actually make it, it's that totally mindset, isn't it? It really is changing that mindset. I think you have a big necklace as well that you brought up during the year.
I'll show you a photo. Someone sent me this picture. They took a screenshot of me. Janice Porter did. That's the money necklace I was wearing, the gold hat, and there I'm holding $100 bills right there. She took this and said, I have a millionaire mind.
There you go.
So,
So this should be on every woman's laptop, desktop, phone. This should be all of our new wallpapers, right? Just to inspire us. We put you on our wall and then we just see you every morning. That brings the fire and that brings the energy of money, doesn't it? Just watching you on there. Definitely.
It does. And, I'm glad you said that because it really is mindset, Claire. You either wake up every day and the glass is half empty or it's half full. And when you look through a specific lens, I have 100 and something emails. When I came back from the event, I had 300 and some emails, right? I was so thankful that I have so many people since I've become an entrepreneur want to reach out to me, want to connect with me. I could have looked at that like, oh my gosh, this is going to be never ending today. But I thought, wow, I can't believe how many people have tried to reach out to me in the last few days since I've been away and busy with my event I'm thankful that I don't have 0 emails in my inbox because that would mean I have 0 work. No one wants to talk to me, right? So you can look at this in several different ways and we have a choice. And just by making those choices, our thoughts create our reality of what's around us. So if you've got to kind of check in with yourself. If you're waking up every day and you're facing the day negatively, then you're going to get negative results for everything you face. If you face the day in a positive manner with an abundant mindset, it's exactly what you're going to get in return. And I do remember when I first started, I said, I want to help every single woman. And I knew that wasn't possible because I was trying to breathe life into those that didn't want to. So you have several different ways that you help people, but you still can't help everyone. You have to know who is my ideal client. Who is my ideal client for Lead Up for Women is different than my ideal client for my LEAP program, for more of the one-on-one and hand-holding and group coaching. So my LEAP program is different, and those women are a different mindset than the ones that might be in Lead Up for Women, right? So they're different demographics, and you need to understand that in your business because that's going to be crucial moving forward because you're going to be able to leverage your time with your energy and the return on that a lot better because you're not going to be hanging out at networking events that don't have the people that are your ideal clients. You're wasting your time. So if you think you're busy, quote unquote busy, that doesn't do anything. Busy doesn't do anything. Being productive does something. It moves your business forward.
And being in the right place in the right time and knowing that this is what you're supposed to be doing as well. What's the biggest challenges do you see in women? So COVID, I've gone through that last year where I've lost all my business in 3 days, and after 12 years, and you're like, what am I doing now? And so I'm sure there's been thousands of women who are in been in the situation and still are in that same situation, because they haven't found what they need to do and what's my purpose, what's my path, where am I going, what am I doing, because you do a lot of coaching as well. So you were talking about your coaching program. What are the kind of things that you would suggest to anybody who's kind of watching this and thinking they haven't found that purpose? Kind of, how can they find this? What are the things that you would suggest for them to start maybe looking at and perhaps doing and perhaps dreaming of, and perhaps doing that they could start going into that path?
Well, first of all, addressing people that already had businesses running in the pandemic. I had a client come to me during the pandemic, and she just lost, she was fearful. The pandemic made her fearful. That fear affected her self-confidence. She had been coaching for 17 years and had always done great. She came to me making $1,500 a month and was like, I don't know what happened. She just didn't have her legs under her anymore. She had zero self-confidence.
Yeah.
So all I did was just breathe life into someone that wanted it back.
Yeah.
And helped her along the way and showing her all of her gifts, reminding her of all of her gifts, and holding her accountable to take the action that she needed. And she was making $30,000 a month within, a few months. It was that easy. It just took sparking it back and like relighting the flame that was there because she lost it. Here's the difference between people that are hungry and the people that aren't. They will blame outside circumstances and reasons of why their businesses are failing in a recession, in a pandemic. Let's all remind everyone, Amazon came out of the 2008 recession.
Yep.
Was born out of that. Many big companies, Uber was another one, born out of a time when the real estate market was crashing, people were losing their homes, losing their jobs. So the pandemic did the same thing to a lot of people. They became victims of outside circumstances. Every woman that I was working with, the people in my community, it shifted in 2020. It was their best year ever, and they were embarrassed to even say it.
Wow.
But it's because they had a different perspective, and they looked at the advantages of having the attention of people because they weren't so busy doing all these other things, and now they're home.
Focused.
So I have their attention. They have the time to work on these things, right? So people that were doing in-person workouts moved to online workouts. It became much easier, much less time for them, much less money for them. So they were able to build their businesses faster and quicker with less time and less investment. I mean, that was a given. Many stores that were restaurants switched to becoming grocery stores because they had to sell all their perishable goods. If they didn't do that, the glass was half empty, and they took all the reasons of why they were going to fail.
Yep.
So you either rise in adversity or you fall. So you have to make a choice. And the choice honestly comes from mindset, Claire.
It is.
You have to read mindset books every morning. Books that, like Marie Forleo, Everything's Figureoutable. Another one, T. Harv Eker, The Millionaire Mind. I can't tell you how important it is to fill your mind every single morning with positivity, with encouragement, with books that are giving you exercises to do so that you literally are planning your day off of a positive mindset. These are basic things. Writing stickies around your house or writing on mirrors. Why do you think I have this sign behind me?
I know.
Because I see it all day long. And it just gets ingrained in your subconscious to know you are enough. And on those days you don't feel like you are, you have those subtle reminders. I have sticky notes all in front of me that tells me how much I love money. How I do anything is how I do everything. If I don't ask, I don't get. Look, your sticky note. Yep. Be the change. So I have ones about money. I have ones about start before you're ready, which reminds me when I'm feeling like I'm not ready to do something yet, I'm going to start it anyway. Right? Because that's when you discover your real tenacity.
But that's that fearful faith as well that you have. And I think I love what you said about your client, because that's exactly what happened to me. And I realized that months later that I had lost faith in myself, and being able to admit that me, and you just think, wow, this is just like, that's not possible. I can't have done that. And you realize how, one bit, you're questioning yourself with everything. And then one moment you wake up and you say, no, this is not going to happen. And then that's it. It's that reigniting button, isn't it? It's like somebody's just suddenly turn you back on and you're like, right, let's go do it.
We don't call up little Debbie and sue her because I gained 5 pounds, right? You don't do that. You don't call up Swenson's or Haagen-Dazs and do a lawsuit because you gained money or you gained weight, right? We don't do that. You gained the weight because your calories in were more than your calories out. So what are you going to do to decide that that is your responsibility, right? So it's the same thing with our businesses. We either are making the money in our businesses that we desire, no matter what the circumstances are, or we don't. I remember Dave Ramsey shared a story about a landscaper that was like, oh my gosh, the recession, that's why it's not going so well. And a second landscaper was like, I'm having the best year I've ever had. And he literally took a bad time and turned it into a positive time. And that's his mindset. So that was his passion that he shared with everyone during that time. I can't even list all the services that I started using during the pandemic that I never used prior to that because the whole world went upside down. I was having food delivered that I never had delivered before. I was doing my own eyelashes and having to find a company for that because they were closed and I wasn't able to go out and have my eyelashes done by someone else. Like there's so many services I started using and buying from because you could do it from the convenience of your home. And I met so many women that were like, well, I've been on all these stages and been selling my book from stages. And it's like, you can be on more stages in 1 week now than you could ever do before. I mean, I've been in India in the morning, shown up in North Carolina in the afternoon, and then in the evening I was in California on 3 different stages in 1 day. That would have taken me 3 days for each of those, if not longer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So I saved just in travel about $12,000 in 2020. So not only did I save more money, I made more money because we became a platform for women because we were online that they didn't even know existed and they didn't have before. So it was like, we've been here, but all of a sudden they were like, oh, I had no idea, right? DoorDash is like my best friend now. And before I didn't even know what DoorDash really was. I never even really used it. I would always go to the grocery store and shop. And now I'm like, wow, that's a really big waste of my time. When I could have Instacart just deliver exactly what I want and I save money because I don't have to go up and down the aisles buying things I don't need.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. And so something else that you just mentioned it right at the beginning. Well, let's just bring it back a bit because also during the event, you launched a book, you and a few women.
I did.
It's just like, it's so powerful, isn't it? When you kind of get to, and then you got to #1, absolutely everywhere. It was amazing.
Everywhere. That's the power of community. And I just want to share that because your net worth is your network. I want everyone to realize who you're surrounding yourself with, the people in your circle. They're your big mouths and your raving fans. And if they're not, they shouldn't be in your front row. They shouldn't be in your circle. Because I put the right women in this book, and it wasn't just me, it was these 10 other authors, because I put the right women in this book, gave them an opportunity to step into the spotlight for them as well. And you can see this is my proof. I haven't gotten the regular book back yet. But because I bet on them, and I asked them to bet on themselves, and write about how other women can bet on themselves and step into the spotlight to do exactly what they've done to be successful. We were #1 in 5 different categories, 5 different countries. We became the #1 bestseller on Kindle that day. Like that is almost impossible to get. I blew every goal that I had out of the water with this book. And I'm just so proud of it, but it's the power of community.
Yeah.
It's the power of people around you. If I didn't have the support of the people around me, it would have gone nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
and you have to shout from the mountaintops about it.
Absolutely.
You have
everywhere.
Trust me, I have written 2 other journals and posted them on Amazon and told no one about it, and nothing has ever happened with them. They literally do nothing. It didn't become #1 bestseller. No one buys them. No one knows they exist, except they sit behind me on my counter right here, and I
They
give
look
them
good.
away as gifts. I give them away to my clients as gifts, but they're available for people to buy. But because I didn't get out there, I didn't step in the spotlight, I didn't tell anyone about it. So this is a really crucial learning piece for business.
Yeah.
If you build it, they're not going to come. If you build a website, they're not going to come. Your responsibility is to get out there and tell people all about what you do, what you're passionate about, and attract the people to you, and then ask them to pay you for your services. If you don't get out there, no one knows about you, and you will not be seen, you will not be heard, you will not be visible, you will be bankrupt. That's what I tell everyone. Bankrupt.
Absolutely.
If you're in the shadows, you can't be seen.
Yep.
So it's your responsibility to find the places to show up. And so that's why I take it so much upon me and Lead Up for Women is to find all the places that are great places for women to show up beyond Lead Up for Women and invite them to go to their networking events, go to their programs, go to do the things they do. Why? Because I'm not competitive. I stay in my lane. I know what I'm good at, and I don't try to be everything for everybody. It's like you, Claire. You're good at one thing. That is the main thing you do, and you rock at it, right? So that one thing that you do encompasses a lot of pieces, you know, and changes someone's behavior because you've redone my entire office, and I love it. And my husband's office, and I love it. And a lot of my clients are coming to you, and I brought you into my clients. They've changed their offices, which have changed their attitudes. The minute your attitude changes, you start getting clients in business.
Yeah.
It's amazing what happens.
That's it. It's that feeling, isn't it? You feel it. You've got that power in yourself, haven't you? It's really it's really amazing how you can change small things and it'll make such a big difference around you. So just show the book again. Where can people buy it? Kindle,
It's Step into the Spotlight to expand your influence and attract the right clients. And you can buy it on Amazon right now. We don't have the printed copy ready, so you can buy it on Amazon. It's the Kindle version is still available. The printed version will be available soon. And then, of course, there's a lot of extras inside the book. Like I give a lot of freebies away. There's a lot of interviews with the authors that no one's seen before. So I definitely recommend every single one of these authors give away a ton of free stuff. They give away free coaching calls, free consulting calls, free diving into your, Instagram calls. So take advantage of all the free stuff because you just never know what one free thing you're going to be given that's going to change your life because it's happened to me. Yeah. And I love it.
Yeah. I mean, my Kindle is full of highlights.
Yeah.
And that, maybe I'll just highlight the whole book.
There's books like that, right? Yeah.
So cool. Well, Colleen, thank you so much for your time, and absolutely, I love speaking to you. We get on so well. So anybody, if you want to know more about Lead Up for Women, go on the website. Is it just Lead Up for Women?
LeadUpForWomen.com.
Okay.
I'm Lead Up for Women everywhere, actually. So follow us on Instagram, follow us on LinkedIn. I'm Colleen Biggs. You can follow me anywhere, but everything I post is through Lead Up for Women because it is my life, and I want people to see me personally. I want them to meet my grandkids and my family. I want them to see the life that I live, the struggles that I have, and and for all the other women too, the struggles they have, the successes they have, because we need to watch another woman move a mountain before we're ready to move our own. So it's important to have a good community.
That's a beautiful last final thinking. That moving the mountain and, knowing that we can do it. Absolutely knowing that faith and knowing that we can do it. And if you don't, get to Colleen and she'll tell you and she'll get you to that place where you'll definitely know All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. And thank you, Colleen. And we'll see you very, very soon. Bye.